So for this video, it's just going to be a very simple and fast tutorial for those who are not familiar with how to use Unity. For those of you who know, just skip ahead. I'm just going to build the environment that you saw here. I'm just going to build sort of this environment. At least just show you basically how to. Okay, so you can see this cube that I created already, right? I'm going to scale it a bit more down. So I hold alternate and just use my mouse to move. Or let's say I want to look at it from the top view, just click on the y-axis, okay? And then I'm going to click on R to scale it because I want to make maybe a thin wall. So now I kind of have a wall. Maybe I don't need it so high. Okay, and then W to move it. Okay, so maybe this is enough. Like, I mean, you can create whatever environment you want. I'm just going to put it here maybe. R to move it, make it smaller, and maybe I want it zeroed along my z-axis, so actually I can just put in manual values here for position, rotation, as well as scale. Okay, so click on this and W. And maybe I'll just put it here. So I want to make another one, Control D. And maybe just, I don't know, rotate it by 90, I guess. And maybe put it here. Maybe make it longer. So this is really up to you. The other important thing to note will be that it looks really messy now, right? So actually by right, what we want to do is that we want to make these walls relative to the marker. So under marker, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create an empty game object, and I'm going to call it F2 to rename again, walls. Okay, and then I'm just going to select these two, hold shift and select, and put it under walls. So now this is, when I move my walls, is actually a container, so the position of the walls will change. But if you look here, the position, if you look here, these will remain constant unless you move it. Let's say I move the walls, has a group, this will not change. So this position is relative to the walls, and this position of the walls is relative to the marker. Okay, got it? Okay, so I'm just gonna for completion, I don't know, I guess this is enough, I guess. Yeah, okay. Okay, so then I'm gonna create sort of a start and an end point. So maybe just create an empty game object, and I'm gonna call it start point, and I'm gonna put it just make sure it's selected, and I'm just gonna put it here, and I'm gonna create like a 3D object that is a plane. I'm gonna name it start plane. And definitely make it smaller. Oh, still too big. Okay, and you'll not be able to see it because it's being blocked by the plane, so by the marker. So just lift it up a little bit. So I'm holding on to the Y arrow here to drag it up in that axis. So earlier you saw that I held on to this green triangle. So when I hold on to this green triangle, because green is for the y-axis, right? It means that when I hold on to the green, rectangle, I'm actually not changing the value of the y-axis position, and only changing the z and the x values. Okay, so this main camera is bothering me. Okay, just uncheck it for now. Later you have to remember to check it. If not, you won't be able to see anything. Okay. If you can see now, it's kind of all white. Maybe I want to create a color to my start plane. So I'm going to create a new folder and call it materials. So inside materials, I'm going to right click and create a material. Not a physics material, but just a material. And I'm going to call it start plane, I guess. So if you click on it and you look in your inspector panel here, you can change its color to maybe I'll just make it like a blue or something, right? Okay, so now that I've selected this, you can just drag this and apply it onto your plane and it'll be blue. And now it's opaque. You can change it to a fade, whatever. If it's a fade, then if you go into albedo, you can change the opacity. Okay, so that's it. One more thing is if you wanna maybe put the word, like put some text in it, you can right click 3D object and just put 3D text. So if I hold my alternate key and sort of rotate the world, you can see it's in the wrong orientation, it's facing the wrong direction relative to our marker. So we're just gonna make sure this is selected. I'm gonna give it a name, start text, and just rotate it in the, let me think, x-axis, am I right? Yeah, alright. And I'm gonna just resize it to maybe the same size as the plane. Okay, I kind of lost it. Double click on it. There it is. Okay. So it's in the center of my start point, which is good because we want it kind of there, but at the same time we want it up a bit. So this is, as you can see, the y is its own y-axis. It's a different direction from the global y. I'm just gonna click here, global, so then your axis will show the global axis rather than the local axis. Okay, so now I want to lift it up slightly, just so that it's on top of the plane and I'll be able to view it. Okay, you can check the y value is here is 0.028, 0.0286, which will be higher, so you will be able to view it from top view. Okay, so I'm just gonna change my text, go into it and put start. You can change the color of your text to whatever, red, I guess. Doesn't look very nice. Yeah, and then, you know, anchor, whatever, alignment, etc. You can play with this yourself. Okay, so that's it for start point, and then I'm gonna create a similar one for endpoint. So again, I'm gonna select this whole group, Control or Command D for duplicate, and endpoint. So make sure that your endpoint group is selected, and then I'm gonna move it in the ZX plane and just put my endpoint maybe here. And then of course I'll want to rename this as well. Okay. Just to check, I can't see my end text, so I'm just gonna move it up a little bit until I can see it. Okay, you can choose to put it in the center, whatever. Okay, so this is basically how it goes. And finally, one last thing to add. So you can just add simple objects this way. The final thing I want to add will be the player object. I'm just gonna use a cube and name it player. Scale it down, and usually I like to give it a bit of rotation so that it's easier to see from the top. Oh, it's a bit too big. Hang on. No, it's too small. Okay, whatever, it's just gonna stay like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna just move it to the start position. So when I first play, it will render so this will be the original initial position when you initialize all your game objects, including the player. Okay. Similarly, you can add another color to the player. Okay, that's it.